that's the polymer. I was telling Mario I'll make 50 gallons up first thing in the morning when I'm making a round. Usually goes down to 75 gallons when I fill that up. I'll show you. You turn it on, there's a water valve. You put a funnel on there, dump it in as you're, putting water in there. This is what goes in there. Polymer.
Okay. Wow, that looks
1 pound for 50 gallons. See, I got it marked so anybody can work here and do it. I got, 10 or 12 of these bags in the MCC room. This will last me forever.
HTH.
No, this is polymer, coagulant.
Okay.
For the clarifier. Instead of using alum, we use polymer. It doesn't work as good as aluminum sulfate, but they went to that. It's Magnaflox LT27. Your guess is as good as me what that actually means.
I'm sure we can look it up later.
Yeah.
Try and figure
That's
it
just the polymer they picked for here, and that's
Yeah.
what I go with. That's the ammoniator right around now. Feeding 4 pounds a day, that thing right around the next building. Or next one. That's the ammonia, that white line that goes up to the clarifier. That would probably scare me the most. That's probably the most dangerous thing we have here. Ammonia is very dangerous. If you have a leak, it'll go right towards your eyes, it'll blind you, it'll burn your skin if you have a leak of any size. And luckily, if we ever had a big leak, we call the fire department.
Even if we breathe that in, can't get anything.
They used to make us don air packs, but they don't do that anymore because some guys had beards and stuff like that, and the face mask wouldn't hold to it, so they got rid of all the air packs here. Plus, you need a chemical suit because you don't want that stuff in it. Anhydrous ammonia, it'll seek out water. It'll burn your arms off and everything, right to the bone. That's the only thing I'm, very leery of. And every 2 weeks, I have to turn the tank off, isolate it, or so there's no ammonia in the line, and I have to unscrew that where it goes into the water because it calcifies up at the end of the pipe. And I stick it in 1 gallon of uric acid for like 20 seconds, screw it back on, and then turn the tank back on. But I don't like doing it, and I like to do it when somebody's here with me. Because if something ever happened, at least you can pull me out. You have to evacuate the line from here all the way up to the clarifier after you shut the main tank off back. It's like a propane tank, when your gas grill. But I won't open the pipe until that gauge is all saying 0 there, and then I close all those ball valves in case the tank for some reason, didn't hold the tank valve. So you got the tank valve closed, 2 ball valves, then you're safe to unscrew it up there. Yeah, even that sometimes you'll get a little whiff of ammonia, in your nose, you're like, whoa. But yeah, that'd be the most dangerous thing I think on site. Luckily we don't have to deal with it that much. Now we'll go to the MCC room. I think that's fine. MCC stands for Motor Control Center. Everybody always asks me that. It's kind of the brains of the plant.
Thank you.
It's all your breakers to your high service pumps, your line mixer up on the line mixer out there, the reaction zone mixer, all that. Sometimes these will trip out. You just have to reset them. If not, you have to call an electrician.
What are the ones you have off there that do not operate?
That's to those wells. That's well 1.
Oh, the wells
that
you
one
have
that's
closed
abandoned,
off.
yep. And this one, well 2, abandoned. But if something's out of service, you'll see that. It could be this even, pump 106. This is the, I guess I got the pressure set at 71 right now. Pump's running at about 90% high service pump. The guys at Olga, another water plant, they operate that now because I'm always out somewhere doing something, so I don't have time to always adjust it, so they do it.
And they can just do that from there.
They do it from Olga. We have a T1 line, connects it from here to there. So they can see anything that I can see here and do anything that I can do. Other than they don't adjust the chemicals, you wouldn't want to do that. Because what if this sensor was reading wrong? What if this was reading 3.8, but it's actually 5.8? You wouldn't want to add more chlorine. This is a chlorine CL17s. This is Clearwell storage tank. Got about a 4.4 in the Clearwell. Average about 3.8, 3.9 storage tank, leaving the plant. Residual, chlorine residual. That's why we have two of them. Turbidity meter right there. Fluoride meter.
Wow, that's really low.
I have to change these out once a month. While I'm doing that, I go ahead and shut the machine down and clean out this photocell right here, which is dumping 19.2 normal acid. Let it set for 15 minutes, then take a little cotton, Q-tips. They're all right, I guess. That's why I was telling Mario I had to taught myself how to calibrate all this stuff. And it was a little hard on me, especially this thing. But I made me a cheat sheet. Sorry, I'll show you. Here's the cheat sheet. I made this up for me. I got these all over the plant because I don't have to use it, but if somebody else had to try to calibrate that.
It's better safe than sorry.
This stuff is very. I'm sorry, Mario. This stuff is very nasty. It'll smell up this whole room. I have to open that door. I have to change this out every 2 months. Or sometimes I have to change it out more than that because there's a little tube in there, and sometimes it breaks and the bottle will fill up with water. What it's doing is pumping water through the tube, and it's sucking up this acid as the water goes through the tube. It's kind of porous, and it sucks up this formic acid into the cell.
What is this?
That's a fluoride monitor.
Okay.
There's one in the tray of the two. About $6 grand piece. This will last several months. This is a reference probe. As long as you got a green light, you're good to go, I found out. If you get a yellow light, that's not too bad. If you get a red light, it's one of these two probes, and each of them cost $1,000. Change those out once a year, roughly. You can tell. I usually put a little label when one of them's been changed out. This is the amount of water going through. It takes probably 10 minutes to calibrate. You just shut it down, and then it's got standard 1 and 2. Then it goes back into service by itself. This equipment is pretty reliable.
You haven't had any problems, really?
Turbidity meter. I was telling Mario I calibrate all this stuff usually on a Thursday morning, once a week. All the turbidity meters. Then we have a little logbook to write it down. It's not too complicated. Anybody can learn it, I guess. But there again, if it's something major, I have to call the instrumentation department, and they come and replace a big part if I don't have it, you know. Like I got on this marquee, it said something about a sensor, and I couldn't really tell by the book what it was, but he had to replace, just a month ago, had to replace this whole black unit here. He had a spare one, and just replaced that whole thing, and then the alarm went off. But we couldn't, neither one of us could tell what it was.
When that sensor went bad, was it still reading?
Yes,
Okay.
I meant to tell you that. That's why I didn't know what it was, because I'm like, it was still tracking and everything, so I called him up.
Air like -99 or some probes do that.
Now, if it gets real dirty, it'll say sensor bad, and all you have to do is clean it out. I've had that happen before. It only goes up to 5.0. It won't read past 5.0.
I know some turbidity meters when they have issues.
Oh, you mean this?
They read like a -99.
Oh, that I've never seen that on this one. You can see what our turbidity is here. It's pretty low.
Nothing.
Well, yeah, because we're not treating nothing. Yeah. Now that'll bounce up and down too if they adjust the pressure quite a bit on the high service pump, because it like water hammers the pipes. And if you come in here sometimes, it'll be a lot higher, but then it goes down in a few seconds. We don't count those spikes on a trend. We have to trend it every 24 hours. We don't count those spikes, because that's just caused by the high service. And what it does is get a little air in the line or something, and cause air bubbles in a little curvette. It's a little bottle in there. There's desiccant in here. It keeps the moisture out of it, and you have to change that once a year or something. It looks like kitty litter. It's blue. It's in a blue, it looks like little kitty litter. Just dump it out, put a new one in. I got bottles of that stuff. I don't know if there's any in here. Yes. It's right here. The one on the filter I have to do a lot more often. I put maybe about this much. You can put whatever amount you want, but I don't like to waste it. I put about this much in the bottom of the tray. Because the moisture will collect on the bottle and your turbidity will spike. It builds up moisture on it. I didn't know that until I started working here. And I always have spare, I have quite a few of those kits. So one of these supposedly lasts a month. So I buy quite a few at a time. I try to do what I think is right.
Seems you're working out pretty well.
Yeah. Every now and then, wait a line. That's fine. It doesn't deviate too much. Maybe if you lost a well or two, you want to readjust it quite a bit, you might want to go out and lay it. It ain't going to deviate much. That's extra polymer bags. That'll last till the plant shuts down, because one of these bags will last me,
After
a
like a
pound.
pound.
Yeah, what are those 50-pound bags? Yeah. So they last 50 days roughly.
You got a while to go.
Yes. Yep. Oh, right here, guys, is the fiber optics. This is one of the newer things they did about maybe 5 years ago. It takes all the signals from here and sends them to the office, and then they go on site. Here's kind of like the brains of the operation. From all the sensors in the plant, flows, stuff like that. Everything's got a transmitter on it. It comes here, and then it goes through here, the fiber optics, to the other fiber optics little box in there, and then it goes on to the terminals, the computers. This can mess up occasionally, but not very often. Lightning can damage these big time. I think one year lightning hit the plant. I was taking my wife to the airport. A guy called me, said he had no communication with the plant. I think it was like almost $50,000 worth of damage. It blew out all kinds of stuff, man. It took them a couple of months to get everything working again, because it was real close to the plant, and even if you got lightning protection, it didn't help. Those little surge protectors on those battery backups, they're not going to save anything. If it's close, forget it. I came in here and most of these breakers were slammed down. They wouldn't reset, man. I'm like, man, I mean, it wiped out, all the mixer motors for the lime and all that. And I reset them and tried to start them. I couldn't get anything to start
So
them.
the plant was basically off.
I told the superintendent if he could get me the raw transmitter working, the raw, and the finished transmitter, that I could run the plant. And that's how we did it for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's your basics. So you know what you got coming in, you know what you got going out, nothing else. Didn't have pressure or anything else, just flows. Just 2 flows. Yeah. But it's no hero. It's only 240 gallons, so you can figure it out. As long as you have those 2, you're good to go. You got to know pretty much. Well, you don't even really need your flow leaving the plant. You can go, well, we didn't have the storage tank level. That was bombed out too. Yeah, so it had to have the flows. We had the 2 flow transmitters. They had spares. And I think they were like $5,000 a piece. This is all the breakers for, low, anything that's not 480. Yeah, lights, smaller motors, stuff like that. Your bigger motors are always on a breaker like this at any plant. See, this used to be the control room, the office, high service room, everything, man. Then they say it's too dangerous to sit in here during a lightning storm with this, so they got that temporary trailer. Well, permanent trailer. It's been there 10 years. We have a department that works on this. I don't know that much about it. If one of these things went, they have spares. I don't even know what they are, half of them.
I'm right there with
If
you.
a light goes off, I say, hey, one of the green lights is a flash, and then they'll replace that unit. But it's not like I work on anything like that. I mean, yeah, I can change out battery backups, but other than that, that's my limitation. As you know, there will be battery backups on just about everything here. Because what happens, like if you lose power, it takes a few seconds for the generator to come up to speed and then switch over. These hold up everything, so you don't lose anything, which is nice. We probably got 8 or 9, 10 of them around the plant. Bigger plants have a lot more than that. Anything vital, they put a battery backup on. Which down here in Florida, I guess, is a must thing.
There's not much light.
Yes. Once a month we run a generator. This is the main breaker coming in the plant. Actually, we just hold this over for 15 seconds. The generator comes on, this red light will come on. That means the generator's up and running, and it's switched over. The lights flicker for just a second, and that's all you have to do. Then you throw this breaker down, time it out for 30 minutes, come back, raise the breaker. There's a timer in here, and go off. So it runs basically an hour. Once a month we do that. Just to test it, make sure it's operational. Probably uses 20 gallons, if not even that.
Of diesel?
Diesel. We've got about 2,000 gallons out there. We just hold this over 15 seconds. You'll see it. You can hear it. You can hear it switch over, and once it switches over, and then you just pop that down. That takes the power coming to the plant off, and then just raise it back up. Because if you weren't here, it would come on automatically. This wouldn't drop, but it would sense a power loss, and that'd come on automatically. I've heard it at my house, when we've had a power flicker. And usually the wells are all in hand. They'll come back as long as they have power. But if there's power in the neighborhood, they won't come back until they restore power. And then all you have to do is come in. If you lose a few wells, you just lower the chemical feeds. Normally we don't lose too many wells. There's the diesel tank right over there.
Okay.
About 2,000. They're going to put a new one right here. Concrete steel one. I guess it's up to, that one's not up to code. New one's going in right here. Because they'll still use this as a booster pump.
Getting rain.
Yeah.
That big pipe right there, that's what's going out into the system. That's coming from the high service pumps. The pipe from here goes underground to the back of the building in a manifold to all 5 pumps. It's a pretty easy gig here because you can see how quiet it is. Every couple hours you get up from the desk. Well, I keep busy all the time. Still recording. You see the guys here, distribution keeps some of their equipment here. That's what the guys were. They're just over there. They're putting in new water mains all over the system.